Let's get right into it. Number 8. The Gong Farmer. You think your job stinks? Try being a Gong Farmer. In medieval England, gong was the word for human waste, and a farmer was the guy who had the honor of cleaning it out of castle latrines and city cesspits. This wasn't a job for the faint of heart. These guys worked only at night, shoveling literal tons of human filth into carts and hauling it outside the city limits. It was one of the most disgusting jobs imaginable, but it was surprisingly well paid. Because, let's be honest, who else was going to do it? But there was a catch. The job was so foul that gong farmers were forced to live in designated areas, away from everyone else. Good pay, but you literally smell so bad that nobody wants to live near you. Number 7. The Leech Collector. Before modern medicine, doctors had one solution for everything. Leeches. Got a headache? Leech. Got a fever? Leech. Feeling a bit sad? Leech. But where did they get all these leeches? From a leech collector. This job was exactly what it sounds like. These people, often women, would wade into disgusting, swampy ponds and just stand there, using their own legs as bait. The leeches would latch on, and the collector would pull them off and stick them in a jar. They'd walk out covered in their own blood, but with a bucket full of valuable medicinal leeches to sell. Forget a desk job. Your own body was the tool. For this one, number 6. The barber surgeon. Need a haircut? How about a tooth pulled? Maybe an amputation? In the Middle Ages, you'd go to the same guy for all three. Barber surgeons were the Jacoval trades of medieval medicine. They were more skilled at cutting hair than saving lives, but that didn't stop them. Their shops were marked by the classic red and white striped pole. The red represented blood, and the white represented bandages. These guys would do everything from a quick shave to bloodletting, which was their go-to move for almost any illness. They believed draining some of your blood would balance your humors. It mostly just made sick people weaker. But hey, at least your hair looked good. Number 5. The Fuller. You know that soft, thick wool clothing people wore? Getting it that way was a seriously gross process, and it was the job of a fuller. A fuller's job was to clean raw wool and thicken it. The method: they would put the wool into a giant tub filled with a lovely mixture of water and stale human urine. Urine, or lint, was a fantastic source of ammonia, which was great for cleaning grease and dirt from the wool. The fullers would then get into the tub and stomp on the wool for hours, basically like human washing machines powered by pee. It was a respected trade, but you can bet they weren't invited to many parties. Number 4. The Sin Eater. This is one of the strangest jobs of all time. When someone was dying, their family might call for a sin eater. This person, usually a poor outcast, would be given a meal, a crust of bread, and a bowl of ale, and would eat it over the body of the deceased. The belief was that the food would absorb the sins of the dying person. By eating the meal, the sin eater was literally taking the person's sins onto their own soul, allowing the deceased to enter heaven with a clean slate. In return, they got a small payment. But the price was steep. Everyone in the village would shun them, believing they were walking vessels of filth and damnation. They saved your soul, but were treated like garbage for doing it. Number 3. The Knocker-Upper. Before alarm clocks, how did you wake up for work? You hired a knocker-upper. These people were the original human alarm clocks. They would walk through the streets of industrial towns in the early morning, carrying a long, lightweight pole, often made of bamboo. They'd walk from house to house, tapping on the bedroom windows of their clients until they were sure someone was awake. They wouldn't leave until they saw a sign of life. It was a critical job for keeping the factories running on time. And who woke up the knocker-upper? They either went to bed super early, or, in a classic paradox, another knocker-upper was hired just for them. Number 2. The Plague Doctor. You've seen the costume, the creepy bird mask, the long black coat, the spooky hat. This wasn't for Halloween. It was the real deal uniform for a plague doctor. When the Black Death hit, these guys were hired by towns to treat the sick. The problem? Most of them weren't real doctors. They were often second-rate physicians, or people with no medical training at all, who just saw a chance to get rich. The famous bird mask wasn't just for looks. The long beak was stuffed with herbs, spices, and flowers, like mint and lavender. They thought this would protect them from the bad air they believed was spreading the plague. It didn't work. Most of their cures, like lancing buboes, were useless and just spread the disease faster. They were more a symbol of death than a sign of hope. Number 1. The Royal Food Taster. Being a king was great, but you constantly had to worry about your enemies trying to poison you. The solution: hire a royal food taster. or taster of meats. This person's one and only job was to eat the king's food before he did, to make sure it wasn't poisoned. If the taster dropped dead, the king knew not to eat the chicken. It was a position of immense trust, and came with some perks. You got to eat like a king every day. But every single meal could be your last. You're basically gambling with your life every time you sit down for dinner. A high-stress job, where one bad bite meant you were fired, permanently. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.